Good morning. This is day 49 Daily Spark question is where do I unconsciously perform identity rather than inhabit experience? Where do I unconsciously perform identity rather than inhabit experience? This feels like when do you go on autopilot? Like what triggers you to go on autopilot rather than inhabit the present moment and experience everything around you? That's how I might rephrase it to make sense to me. Where do I unconsciously perform identity? So, well, I know specifically it's in those moments of interacting with other people, because when I'm not in the presence of other people, there's there's no identity to perform. Who am I performing for? Who's my audience? With the exception of like little dances with my cats, talking to my cats from this identified self, like my personality. It seems to be related to cats. Or myself. Sometimes I will like be weird around myself, and it feels a little performative in a way, like I'm consciously moving my energy, like my body, my energy, like to maybe stimulate my energy, to just move it. I don't know. So sometimes I guess I perform identity even in the absence of other people, but more so with other people, because it's almost like that expectation that, hey, they're coming here to not interact with a blank slate. That's one aspect. Like we perform for each other. It's almost like we like to entertain each other because it's fun. Like we enjoy having personality with each other. It makes life interesting. And then also what I like is when it says rather than inhabit experience. First of all, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive, but we'll put a pin in that. Meaning you can maybe unconsciously perform identity and inhabit your experience. I'm pretty sure that it's possible. Like we are multifaceted, multi-track humans. Some people say we don't truly have parallel processing. When you look at it really, really close and it's really, really fast, but it's not parallel. But I don't know about that either. I think all things are possible, but we'll put a pin in that. I have a lot of pins. I don't know who's going to go back and collect these pins. Certainly not I. Where do I unconsciously perform identity? Well, unconscious means I'm not even aware I'm performing. There's less and less of that for me these days. So I will say that, because I'm more and more conscious about when I'm performing and why I'm performing and why I'm choosing to perform with other people. It's a tool. Personality to me is a tool, and it's a fun tool. That reminded me of a movie. The Irish guy I love so much, Chris O'Dowd. Oh, I love him so much. And he goes, fun things. What movie was that? I think it was Bridesmaids. Man, I love that movie. I could watch it. Kristen Wiig, Chris O'Dowd, her expressions, like her personality, her performance of her personalities in these characters, unmatched. They make me so happy. I'm so glad we get to live. I'm so glad I don't know about you, but I'm glad that I get to live in the world with Kristen Wiig. I'm gonna cry. That's how strongly I feel about that. I feel so strongly that I am so grateful that I get to be alive in the same span of years overlapping with Kristen Wiig's lifespan. And that I got to experience her, not quite real time, but like real time, like we're in the world together. I wonder if like 1,000 years from now, like all our movies and, shows, whatever, they've been preserved in some way. Will future humans even care to go back to all that content? Like, what in 1,000 years will be such a cult status thing to do? Like, would they watch Back to the Future and be like, oh my God, that's hilarious? That we thought about that time travel would even look like that. Oh man, we got to put some pins in this stuff. Okay, so anyway, where do I unconsciously perform? I think it's in those small talk moments. We talked about that. I'm just not a fan. I don't love small talk, except on some level, I love it. Everything's a paradox. Everything's like, I can't have one opinion and stick to it. I see too many sides. So the reason you know why I don't love it? Because it feels unconscious. Like we're not connecting with the most interesting things we could be talking about. Like we could just light each other up with like what ifs kind of conversations. Like, oh, yeah, I never thought of that. But when we talk about weather and sports and news or whatever, our opinions on politics, oh God, it just makes my stomach, I just want to puke. I just want to puke. And that wouldn't be very friendly. It just like, that's a downward closing kind of energy, whereas like what ifs and possibilities and lighting each other up with like brain bubbles. Like that it feels expansive to me, and that's all I want from here on out, is like anything that opens us up with each other. So that's why small talk feels like we're just unconsciously performing identity, meaning here's my script, here's my autopilot responses, here's what I would say. So that's why I don't like it. The reason I do like it is because it is an entry point into connection if we treat it that way. Like it is the door opener where we open the door with each other, talking about the weather, and we intuitively know like, I think there's potential for more depth here. Or I don't think there's any potential for more than weather here. And so that's where we'll stay. And I'll probably get bored. But I still love you as a human. So I will still enjoy that little door opening kind of mini connection we can have. But that opening feels like, ooh, okay, there's potential for more. And that to me is like expansive. It's an opening energy. So that's kind of like, I don't know why, that's where my brain goes with this question. And then inhabiting experience to me is like, what is it? What even is experience? Inhabiting means like living within the experience. Like I feel really alive. I'm not on autopilot, meaning alive. I'm taking in everything as if it's brand new. And I'm like coming up with how I feel about it real time. I'm not playing a script from old experiences. I'm not predicting things. And so that to me is like so exciting. And I think you can like marry, I think that's where inhabiting the experience with another person, where small talk is the door opener, and then we can figure out how to inhabit the experience together without expectation. That's the other thing about inhabiting an experience. We don't know what it's going to look like because we're not playing an old script. We're not reading from an old script. So it's being vulnerable enough to explore and inhabit the experience together. And I think that's what's really hard for us humans. It's very vulnerable if you don't know the person very well, or the complete stranger. Sometimes though, I have to tell you, okay, maybe this is how I feel about it. Maybe a complete stranger is easier. Oh, I think that feels true to me. And I'm also having a hot flash. I think that feels very true to me. Like, because sometimes I just go full on weird. First meeting, new stranger, full on weird, full on vulnerable, full on like all in, where it might seem overwhelming. I did it today in the sauna to somebody I hadn't met before. And when he asked me a question, I sense, that's that intuitive sensing, that there's potential with this person for more. The other guy in the sauna that I alluded to several times, I won't say his name, I don't sense the potential. Oh man, we got to put some pins. That is not entirely true. What I really feel is he is, in my mind, and again, this is all about me, my perspective, which is faulty, right? So my perspective on our potential together is like, oh God, it would just take so much gut wrenching work to break through his scripting, that I'm like, do I have the energy? Do I have the energy? Because our, like I said, our energy is our most valuable resource, and it would drain me. It would be so drained. It would just feel like, but again, that's expectation. So that's the faulty part of this perspective, is like, it just feels like, oh my God, it would just be so much exertion. The other guy I met today, I'm like, there's potential where we could just go straight there, and I did. And it was great. So then coming back to the other pin is like, strangers, yeah, full on vulnerable right away. Like, let's go there. Let's not be performative. Let's inhabit the experience together. That's why I said our personalities can come out. We can perform our personalities and inhabit the experience together. I truly believe that. And then full on strangers, and then full on, like, closest person in my life. For me, my example would be like my husband. Yeah, we're vulnerable and weird all day long, all the time. And if we're not, then it means like, oh, is everything okay? Like, something happened today you want to talk about? Like, it's like, it usually points to like, oh, there's something weighing on us that we probably want to talk about. So there's the middle, that huge middle, that's like, I've had several interactions with these people, or it's a new person but in a context that doesn't feel like we can be vulnerable, like, or the people like I know pretty well, and so it's like they have certain expectations of how this is going to go, and do I want to challenge that today? Do I have the energy? Oh my God, this is way more fascinating to me than I thought it would be when I first read the question. Man. Okay, well, that's all. Thanks. Bye.